Hey guys, Manny CA here. This time I was going to show you guys the way we do a chamber cast. And nope, we're not going to use any of that Safe garbage, which, I mean, I'm sure it works and it's good, but every time I've used it, it always ends up shrinking on you. I know, kind of weird, you got to follow the directions, but I've never been that type of guy to follow directions. So we're going to do this the way I've done it in the past. I'll show you guys how to do it. We've got our good old 7mm Mauser here that's been giving us problems. It looks like it's really got a big throat, but the only way to find out how big of a throat you got is to do a chamber cast, which is what we're going to do today. If you guys don't remember anything about this video, remember, you're better off fitting the bullet in the throat of your gun than to your bore and your lands. Remember that. Fill the bore, or fill your throat up with the bullet, with the appropriately sized bullet, and you will have good accuracy all the time. So let's show you what you're going to be needing today. You're going to need a steel rod. This is a 1/4 inch steel rod. We wrapped it candy cane style with masking tape, just regular tape, painter's tape. You're going to need a nice hammer. We've got a claw hammer here we're going to use because you're going to be doing a lot of pounding. You're going to need a fired brass or 2 or 3. I recommend doing it 3 or 4 times, and you're going to sacrifice your brass. Preferably brass has been fired in the gun already. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill it, see, with soft lead halfway. This is about 3/4 of the way up on the neck. See that? And now we've got lead all in here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually make a whole cast of in here by pounding on it. And lastly, you're going to need a bullet that's long. And again, get a couple of them made out of lead. That's what we're doing here. This is a straight lead. No wheel weights, no linotype. Just like roof flashing lead, any kind of plumber's lead, any kind of lead that you can get a hold of. And one more, I'll give you a warning. If you guys don't feel up to doing this, don't do it, because if you do this incorrectly, you will get it stuck in your bore, and it will be irretrievably, irrevocably hard to get out. You'd have to bring it to a gunsmith and have them do it, or someone who doesn't mind pounding on your gun, because we're going to be dealing with a lot of pressures. So let's get started. First thing you want to do, like I said, you've got your round here has been fired in the gun, and what you want to do is make sure you lightly lube the chamber and your throat. And we did that already. We used a little bit of CRK, or what is that, break free, CLP. And then what I'll do is I take a little bit of lube and I like to rub it right here, because this is the part that's going to get a lot of pressure, your neck and your shoulder area. And then you take your bullet and you're going to put it right on top, like so. Oh, I'm going to grab one that's not formed. There you go, just like that. And then what I like to do is I'll take it and kind of give it a couple of taps, just to kind of mate it to the surface a little bit. Doesn't matter if it doesn't stick, because it will stick with the pressures we're doing. Next is we're going to load the gun, again with that bullet, in your, well, let's grab another one, because that one disappeared. And like I said, this gun has a really big throat, big chamber, so the bullets are kind of hard to seat in there, get to sit in the neck. There we go. And then close your bolt. Make sure that, make sure that it's in there. There you go. Next thing is use a secure clamp. You want to make sure you put this right on the ground. So we've got a block of wood underneath it, and you want to make sure it's up and down, straight up and down, because you want the force to go down straight into the barrel. Now doing this one person, it's just a little tricky. but it can be done. There we go. I don't want to mar up the rifle at all, especially if you're doing this for somebody else's rifle. All right, and just keep your eye on it. Next thing is you need a plug to go in here, because remember, your bullet is sitting just like this in the chamber. You want a plug that's going to go on top of it like this. That way you don't get your rod stuck. One thing about the rods, make sure they're flat. You know, on the side that's going in. You really don't want more than one pressure on one side of the bullet. Now you start, I use a piece of leather that I cut a whole lot of, just using my punch. And we're going to put that down in there, and we're pushing, give it constant pressure. You want to make sure that it sits evenly on top of your bullet. There you go. Alright, let me grab my eyes, because you never know when this stuff might decide to break on you. And then what you do, you start pounding, but you want to pound and you want to go hard, but you don't want to, you really don't want to do it like, just like rap. You just wanted to get a couple of good hard hits. And you'll feel it moving. Now I lift it, give a quarter turn, and back down. So if there's any sticking going on, we can remove it when it's easy. Ooh, watch your hands too. Now as I'm using a hammer, I'm pulling down with this hand too, just to give a little bit extra. And you want to use a heavy hammer. Give it a turn. And now you see where the plug comes in handy. Because you don't want to drive your rod into the top of that bullet and is effectively sticking it. Quarter turn. Quarter turn. And you'll feel it when it stops. You'll feel the bullet kind of give way, because what we're doing is mashing the top of that bullet into all the nooks and crannies of that chamber. The throat, the lands, just kind of give a check, make sure it's still up and down. You want the rifle to be straight up and down. That way all that energy goes straight down to the ground. Whoa, we're breaking stuff. You'll feel when it doesn't move anymore, you know that you've got it pretty much jammed in there. Yep. Now the patch is wedged in there, or a leather patch. Let's do a couple more blows just to make sure. Oop. Mash my hands there. Oop. Yep. I think that tells us we're done. Alright. So, when you get done with that, what's going to happen is your bolt is going to be, yeah, you got a lot of pressure in here. Believe me, you're not going to do any damage to it. You got about 25, 30, 40,000 PSIs which come into this every time you fire. So, one thing you want to worry about is when you go to extract the bolt, you want to make sure that you do not separate your plug. And you don't want to separate your bullet slug from your case. Hopefully, you know, you swaged it enough, or we swaged it enough here that it won't happen, but we'll see. So what you like to do is just do some light taps as you try to open the handle. And if that doesn't work, you can see it's just kind of give it a little bit of tap. It's going to pop open. When it pops, it's going to pop on here. There we go. All right. Now gently, you want to knock it out. Let's get the other hammer here. All right, put it back on the ground here. That way we get just a little bit more leverage, and we'll feel it as it moves. Take and twist. Alright, I can feel it moving. This is the crucial part where you want to make sure it doesn't just drop right out, because you did all this work and just to lose it would be a shame. There we go. The extractor has it. We'll kind of pull it out, and might have to remove the bolt to do this sometimes if it's really long. There. You see what you end up with. Now, before you go any further, remove and look down the bore. Make sure it's free of obstructions. We're clear. So, what that does is, in case you forget to come back or something's stuck in there and you shoot the gun later, you don't kill yourself and blow it up. This is what you end up with. Let me show you. Here's our leather patch. And you can see you've made a form of everything. Of the chamber, your neck, and your leads up here, your lands, your grooves. You look over here, this rim right here, that's how much you have to play with when it comes to brass. You see that? And then from there, you take 3 measurements. You measure the neck, and you'll measure right here in front, right in front. Use a good pair of micrometers, use a good micrometer. And what you're going to do is, this is not a good pair, but hey, it'll do. You're going to measure here, the neck, you're going to measure right in front, right here, which is the throat. And then you want to measure a little bit up here. This is your bore, actual bore itself. So you see how thick this guy is, how big he is. So we did a couple of these already, and we just double checked our measurements. I'll show you guys here. We did a couple already. We double checked our measurements. They all seem to be okay. They all seem to correspond to one another. So what we're going to do is take the measurements off this one, and these are what you want to do when you're trying to fit the bullet to your throat. This is all considered your throat. So now you know exactly how to do a chamber cast without using Cerasafe or Cerakote. You know exactly how to fit your bore, how to fit your round to your gun. This is very useful for paper patching. If you guys stay tuned, we're going to do a couple videos on paper patching. So if you guys have any questions, shoot me a message. Like I said, it's not for the timid to do something like this. If you have any questions about your abilities and being able to do it, seek someone that knows it's around you that can help you out with it. Because I mean, this is the best way. If you ever have a mold made for your gun, for your especially bullet casting mold, it's the only type of molds they have. You want to do something like this, because a lot of the guys won't even talk to you unless you do a casting like this and send it to them. So you have all the information. Here you can get your bore diameter, you get your groove diameter, you got your throat, you've got everything. So hopefully you guys can use this. Let me know if you have any questions. Till next time.